It's one of the biggest efforts ever to fight poverty in U.S. history.
They will receive monthly direct deposits or checks. This is all part of an advanced child tax credit, and here is how it works. If you have a child under the age of 6, you can claim $3,600 as a credit when you file your 2021 taxes. But instead of waiting until next year to claim the credit, the government will now pay half that amount in monthly installments starting July 15th.
So if you have kids between 6 and 17, you can claim $3,000 per child. The money will be automatically deposited into the bank account you have on file with the IRS, or you're going to get a check in the mail. Got all that? To help go through it more is Congresswoman Maxine Waters, of course, one of the best known members of Congress, one of the longest serving as well for this area. Congresswoman, great to see you.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here, and I'm so pleased. You're talking about what I consider one of the most important, effective things that the Congress of the United States have ever done. I'm jumping with joy. I am so happy about the fact that we're going to eliminate poverty. Not only are we going to take this child tax credit and make sure that everybody who is eligible is going to get it. Those people who have filed their income taxes, they don't have to do anything. Others, we will assist them. We have telephone numbers for them to call in order to give us the information that we need to make sure that they get this. Look, I've been putting this flyer out in my community because I want everybody to know about it. I am overjoyed because I have witnessed children sleeping in cars. Children not wanting to go to school because they didn't have the effective clothes, the right clothes to wear. I've had children who go to bed hungry. And I want to tell you, this is why I'm in the Congress of the United States of America. I'm absolutely elated.
Congresswoman, let's talk a little bit about eligibility, because of course there is an income threshold. So what do parents watching need to know?
What they need to know is, first of all, that single parents, head of household, making less than $112,500 are eligible for the full amount, as are couples making less than $150,000. The child tax credit begins to phase out above these limits. Well, I want to tell you, there's so many families in my community that make not even half this amount. People who have been working for minimum wages, who have been struggling paycheck to paycheck to try and keep food on the table. We will have huge eligibility for these funds that are being made available by their government to ensure that we eliminate poverty among our children and our families. This is absolutely what government should be doing.
So this is something that was passed as part of the COVID relief bill. I don't think it got enough attention at the time, because in reality, this is probably a lot bigger deal than those $600 stimulus checks that came from the COVID relief bill. Right now, this is only expected to go through December of this year. I know there's a push by many on the Democratic side, including you, to have it go a lot longer than that. What's the status of that? Is this something that we could look at being a permanent thing going forward?
Well, this is what we have to work on. First of all, I want to give credit to Rosa DeLauro, who is the chair of the Appropriations Committee. She's been working to improve the child tax credit for years. And it's because of her leadership that we have gotten to this point with a lot of support from the members on the Democratic side of the aisle. And yes, we would like to make it permanent, and we're going to work very hard. Right now, this is going to begin July 15th and go through December, and hopefully by that time we have done what we need to do in order to move to permanency.
Yeah, so the payments begin July 15th, then August 13th, and September 15th, and you get the idea through December. You're talking about potentially extending it, but once this does expire, let's say it does at the end of December, this is the advanced child tax credit, so there is still the child tax credit to take advantage of.
Yes, there'll still be child tax credits, but what we want to do is we want to make sure that these tax credits are available to all of these families that need it, and to help them do what is necessary, submit the information that we need in order to get them into the system so that these children and these families can be the beneficiaries of what I think is one of the greatest public policies that I've been involved in. And I've been involved for a lot of years.
Yeah,
but, you know, to have this benefit for the children who we all claim to love so very much, and we want them to do well. We want them to be in school, getting educated, but we know that there are many kids who would not be in school because they would not have the proper clothing, they've been sleeping in cars, they are hungry, and so they drop out. But this will help them to stay in school. And so I could just dance a jig, as they would say, about this. I'm just so happy. I'm so pleased about it.
You know, I always say dancing welcome on the show if you ever want to show off your moves. Another thing that your office just put out within the last hour is LAX noise complaints. There's been a lot of people that have been frustrated with the noise situation there. Your office has secured more than $21 million in grants for people who live near LAX. How's that going to work?
$21.9 million to deal with the noise that is caused by the planes, and all of our communities are in this pact. And so we have communities of South Los Angeles, Westchester, and the South Bay even, that's been fighting for years to reduce the noise. And so this $21.9 million in grants is for residential noise mitigation for people who live near this LAX and are affected by the airport noise. And these grants will benefit more than 1,300 local households and the individuals and family who live in them. So it's a great time for me, and it's a great time for the people of this country. I want to give credit to President Biden for the kind of leadership that he's given, you know, to our country. We've been through some awful times with COVID-19. A lot of people, you know, could have given up hope. A lot of people lost their jobs, or they were laid off from their jobs. They lost family members. I lost my sister. And so this has not been a good time. But because of the leadership of this administration and the fact that we have passed the CARES legislation and the American Relief Bill, we have shown the American people that not only do we care, but we are prepared to do what is necessary to make their lives better. And so I'm pleased that we're moving forward in the way that we're doing. And yes, we have this mitigation that's going to take place. The windows and the doors that have been shaking and, you know, making the noise available, coming into people's homes, will be dealt with the mitigation efforts that we have from all of our cities and local communities.
Well, looking at the date, let's get your final thoughts. It is July the 6th. It was 6 months ago, of course, the insurrection at the Capitol. Obviously, we know that the commission has been set up under House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. What does accountability look like for you?
Well, first of all, let me just say that, you know, we have a lot of folks on the other side of the aisle who have always touted their patriotism. I don't know how you could consider yourself a patriot if you're not willing to get to the bottom of what happened January 6th in the capital of the United States of America. To have our Capitol invaded, to have the windows broken in, the walls scaled, our police, Capitol Police beaten, and the American flagpole used to beat people with, and not want to know why this started, who is responsible. I will never understand, but I can tell you, the American people want to know, and we're not going to give up. We're saddened that we have not been able to get the bipartisan support that we thought we could have. The bipartisan support that has not been there has not stopped us. And so Nancy Pelosi has put together the select committee, and we're moving forward. 8 members from her side, 5 members from the other side, members that we are offering. One of those 8, Nancy Pelosi has given to the Republicans, so they could have 6 if they wanted. But we've got to address this problem. We have domestic terrorists. We have domestic terrorists now who are aligned with members of Congress who have been elected to be in the Congress of the United States. And I'll tell you, I know it is the Proud Boys, it is the Oath Keepers, it is QAnon, and I know about the Oath Keepers because they tried to make a run on my office. They organized and they started to come to my office to take me on, but the community turned up. And I had to do everything that I could to keep there from being a confrontation. And LAPD got in the middle of it. But we know these are dangerous people, and we know these are brazen people. But we also know that America does not deserve to have its capital invaded. We do not deserve to have an insurrection in the greatest democracy in the world. And so we've got to get to the bottom of it.
All right, Congresswoman, thank you so much. That Republican member is Liz Cheney, who is going to be a part of that select committee appointed by Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Thanks for being on our 7 o'clock show for the first time. We hope you'll come back.
Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for inviting me. I'm so happy and I'm feeling so good. And this is the right time to tell everybody about the good things that are happening.
All right, Congresswoman, thank you. And we'll have another perspective tomorrow night from Republican Congressman Mike Garcia.